everyone, I am Pie Patch and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. We're continuing on with the Arc 3, moving into some of the moments, and we're getting close to the end, but also some DLC has come out, and I'm not gonna lie, I gasped when I saw the cover art for it, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet, though you could probably guess. It looks amazing, oh my god, but we can't get to that yet, because we've still got stuff to do. And we're moving on to the first one, which is hanging. I believe those are crepes. Or like I said last time, blueberry pizza. But, oh my gosh. I'm so excited to move into some of these moments, because it's seemed that as we've gotten older, it's been getting into some deeper topics, some more involved moments and stuff. As we're getting more emotionally mature and stuff like that, I think this is going to be really interesting. So let's go. Is that a seal? I think so. You grabbed the large beach towel from off of your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. Oh, wonderful. The stars had aligned and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. Oh no, is it not going to be a fun time together? I'm sorry, I was unprepared. Jeez Louise, bud, cover up. What are you doing in my... Put a shirt on, Jesus Christ. This is just speaking a lot about who I am, isn't it? Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was going to do. You could have gotten a new one somewhere. What happened to all your other... Yeah, surely he has... Like, that's his entire wardrobe. You don't have to wear a swimsuit to be on a beach, true? Yeah, it completely vanished somehow, just like your old sand pail. You said quiet. Yeah, what happened to all the other ones? I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have to do some laundry. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care. But I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favourite trunks. Oh, for sure. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser and mused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. Your height had complicated shopping a little. Not all suits were made to properly fit people like you. And then for the shape of your body. If we're gonna go to fit me, I'm pretty slender. And... I am a noodle. I'm probably soft. There was a smooth feel to your build, without any hard muscle even if you flexed. Yeah, true. I'd like to be strong. I'd really like to be a big strong person, but also I can't bring myself to exercise very often except for walking everywhere. I will one day. You weren't as muscular as you used to be. Your lifestyle had changed since the way it was when you were younger. You alright? Oh, yeah, I was just thinking about some things. What things? Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your identity further. Oh god, this is so deep. You knew for sure. Oh! For me, this one for sure. You had no questions about that part. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. Yeah, true. You were confident in yours. This is tough. Cause I don't think you're necessarily always one thing. Sometimes I'm not content, but usually I'm reasonably comfortable. We'll just go with that, I guess. Your body was you, and it was good one, and it was a good one that you felt content with. You used to not feel as good when you were younger, but you had since grown into your body. You felt more at home now and less uncomfortable. Not that you don't have moments like that, well, more than moments, but, I think it's part of everyone's life to have issues with their bodies. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something to say to him. Interesting. I think the first one, because this feels kind of leading. I don't know. What do you think about me? About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Patch? You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that's changed. You pouted, you laughed, you blushed. I didn't want a compliment, I was just asking, so what if I wanted you to compliment me? You still should. Ooh, I'm gonna laugh. You weren't sure why you were surprised he responded with that. Cove shook his head. His hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kinda worried you were so in your head, cause something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad. Hey, Patch. Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly shapely today. He answered not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how prettily he'd complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. Oh, you were a little taken aback. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. I didn't know you liked my arms so much. Yeah. Oh. You started to flex and show off jokingly. You flirtatiously stretched. You stood there stunned. You're so sweet and fantastic. You're very good unto yourself. You hugged him. I think a hug. I think it's nice to let him know that we genuinely appreciate compliments and stuff like that. You hurried across your room and flung your arms around Cove. He chuckled back nervously after you'd gotten a squeeze in. I see you're putting those arms to good use. Oh, you cackled at his joke and hugged him tighter. When you both had gotten your giggles out, you let him go. Finally, you felt that was enough of that topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you wanted to wear to the beach. Oh, casual clothes, 1-piece, 2-piece, wetsuit, swim trunk. Ooh, I think a 1-piece, mostly just because I recently got new swimmers and they're this really cool 1-piece with skulls all over them. It's pretty cool. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Ooh, a hat is very important. A shawl could be good, cover up your shoulders. Board shorts, a regular shirt, got a swimsuit, let's grab a hat for sure. With that taken care of, you held your outfit together and looked to Cove. He was tapping his toes on the side of the wall as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so, given how long he'd perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. I thought he was gonna go, I can wait. like stay there. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window and strode past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by. Oh, I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down, scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Nice to see you again. Hi. Miranda and Terry are going to be here in not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule. Why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand and you set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swirls hit the shore rhythmically. You had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect. Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or do you want to do something here? Maybe we could go for a walk while we wait for them to get here. I don't think we should go into the water until everyone's here. You wiggled your toes in response to the comment and looked off into the shoreline. Cove nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Oh, so was that like the decision for the whole day? Dang it, we should have gone for a swim then. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. As you shouted a greeting, you cheered at their antics, you waved too, you laughed, you shook your head, you hoped they wouldn't fall. I'll shout a greeting. Miranda, Terry, it's so good to see you guys. Oh, they're so cute. I like Miranda's outfit. The two officially arrived at Cove's and your setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Hey Terry, Miranda, welcome to our beach. Hi. Hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile. Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in your town? Cove? Patch? Have we missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. You shrugged like Cove, you gave a fake answer, you gave her a recap over how your family was doing. I'll let her know how the family's going. Your moms were the same as ever for the most part, although they were definitely still adjusting to you being an adult now. Liz had asked you to take pictures of her latest makeup look the other day. There was nothing too dramatic going on right now. Terry nodded along and mentioned a couple things about her own parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brother had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. I know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She'd met up with Terry on the way here and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we catch up. Oh, yeah, definitely. You felt pleased that Cove remembered what she'd wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in the water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shoals or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work, burying Terry's full body under a pile. I can't imagine. I haven't been to the beach in ages, years probably. Nothing like this of actually sitting on the beach and going swimming and stuff. I don't really like the beach too much to begin with, but just being in Australia, it's just kind of, the beach kind of scares me just with how hot and abrasive the sun is. I can't imagine not having an umbrella to sit under or something like that. I can't imagine just blank sitting on the beach. I mean, people do it. I guess it's just not me, but I am incredibly pale, so that probably adds a bit to it. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Don't fall asleep. Oh my god, you're gonna get so burnt. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. Hey bud, how's it going? You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in the pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. Thank God. Oh my gosh. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Hey. Hey. He ran his hands across his chest, worked the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye while still sipping some water. He noticed you noticing him, and Cove tilted his head your way as a smile formed. Okay, I'm gonna deliver this seriously. Would you want to help me reach my back? I am not a flirty person at the best of times. But even when it's fed to me, no, I can't do it, bud. Yes? Bit enthusiastic there, me. Thanks. You scoot. I'm better with uncomfortable awkwardness. How about that? You scooted up behind your boyfriend and reached a hand around his front so he could squeeze a small pile of sunscreen into your hand. You rubbed your palms together, spreading the cream out more evenly, then began applying it softly to his shoulder blades. Look at his face. He's gonna cry. Oh my god. What a dumbass. From there you moved to the tops of his shoulders, the nape of his neck, and down his spine. Oh, his little face. Oh, buddy. Cove was mumbling the entire time, but you couldn't make out what he said. He might not have even realized he was doing it himself. The tone of his voice and the look on his face, I got the message across just fine, however. He was happy. You were too. I just can't get over that face. It's so cute. That's joy right there, baby. After he and you finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically, if you didn't say anything. I wait until he sighs. What's wrong, you honestly wondered. You wondered what it was, you raised an eyebrow, you chuckled. Oh, Cove, whatever it is, I'm sure you're going to be okay, you joked. No, I'm going to ask. What's wrong, you honestly wondered. You inspected his face to see if there was anything actually distressed about him, but he still just looked like he was exaggerating. You asked anyway, since it was obvious that was what he wanted. Oh, okay, I see. Cove shook his head. I was genuinely worried. You need to be direct with me or I won't understand. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes. I'm just becoming another jaded adult. That's all. Now you are really gonna... Me too. Me also, yes. Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. No, it's like... Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. That is heartbreaking. What? That had not been what you're expecting, he continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there. I mean, the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. He dragged his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is the perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. Are you being serious? I'm just making fun of you and you're being serious? If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or the Fermi paradox. No. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one. But nothing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hey, I'm real sorry, bud, but I'm pretty sure they're not real. I mean, you can believe anyway, though, but just for funsies. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. You burst into laughter. That's hardly proof. It's not like this is the only beach in the world. You pretend to be shocked and disappointed. You shook your head. Wow, good for you with that revelation. I pretend to be shocked and disappointed. What? Mermaids aren't real? You looked at him and tried to get fake tears to start welling up in your eyes. I can't believe it. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on the shore one day. He looked at you with a faux doleful expression. I could have lost my partner to their magical underwater world. You're right, I would leave you. Oh yeah, I'd totally go to live under the sea with merfolk. Even if I had the chance, I'd stay on the shore with you. I'd go with the merperson, but only if you... Oh yeah, totally, yeah, 100%. Cove smirched triumphantly. You would too. Hey, come on, let's be honest here. I knew it, but I can't blame you. If a beautiful, kind merperson falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the responsible person isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy. Are you warning me that you'd leave me if you got that kind of offer? Why are you so sure I'd have to make that call? Since this is all hypothetical, why not have you be the merper? I don't want that. I should get to be a mer creature, then I'd invite you to the underwater world. Cove, there is no... Oh... He would be the merperson, though, for sure. Cove turned his face to beam at you. He brightened immediately. Yes, now we're talking. I'd be a good merman, right? Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, developers? Hey, I kind of just got an idea for some DLC. What if Fantasy AU, huh? Just throwing it out there. You can have that one for free. That's a freebie on me. We could be like a satyr or something. Right? Come on, get with it. You'd make the best merman. It's true though. Cove's gaze was drawn back to the water with shining eyes. He was clearly imagining some world where he was a merman who happened upon you here at this beach. You tried to picture what he could be thinking. It would be quite a lovely story. Maybe they've got it in planning and this is just seeding out the idea. That would be amazing. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. Oh, did she touch seaweed? You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. Oh, look at her face, she's so cute. Oh, we're gonna have to start over on that part? Do you just want to give up on this now? No way! The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah! Resembling the Oh, I see, of course. We don't have Kool-Aid ads over here. I don't know what he sounds like except from food theory videos. Oh yeah! Something like that. Resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Also recommend the game theory video on the Kool-Aid Man of calculating his true power. Good stuff. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. Yeah, I mean, you're right, that is the way you have to do it. The four of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colourful. Cove caught a tiny crab. Aw. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games, to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had ran out of water. Drinkable water, anyway. It was decided that you'd head to your or Cove's house. Things were gathered, and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere else to go, so it could be whatever. Same. I guess we can keep hanging out? Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? You looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. Snack time. We could get dessert. Miranda put a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Ice cream? Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up. Sounds great to me. Yeah, I can definitely go for that. You know I'm up for more, but there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends immediately glanced at Cove and his place. He shook his head immediately. Dad doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. Of course. Ew, no. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked. It's not that bad. Nope. Well, there has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. Surely we'd know, like, every shop around here, wouldn't we? I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. Uh-oh. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. Oh, okay, fine. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration. I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove from top to bottom. Well, not if you just go to like an ice cream place would be fine with that. Surely. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Yeah, maybe at like a full dinner place. Cove glanced down at his bare chest and feet, not having registered it prior. He chuckled a little. I'll grab something. Cove moved over to his house. You looked towards yours. I'll wait outside. Yeah, I'll wait outside with them. You watched Cove disappear into his house. Terry was deep in the midst of scrolling through food options. You shuffled over to where you could see, and Miranda did the same. Yes! Ice cream, of course. There's ice cream. People love ice cream, especially around here. Oh, I thought you said I don't like ice cream, and I was about to snap. Or cry, one or the other. I don't really feel like ice cream. Cool, cause I don't either. She flicked her finger up, and another ice cream place showed up. Melty Moo-Moo's Frozen Treats, with an unfortunate cartoon mascot. I like ice cream, it's just not for today. There has to be something else. Crepes! I see. You thought on it and Terry kept scrolling. You heard a door open and Cove reappeared. There we go. You were just about to be surprised at how quick he was, but then noticed he'd just thrown on a t-shirt over his swim trunks and slipped on a pair of sandals. Of course. Hey. Everyone else exchanged their respective greetings and then looked back at Terry's phone. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Ooh, what about this place? They sell crepes. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. She shoved her phone into your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrapping for the crepes, as well as applied toppings. And well-applied toppings. Weird. I've never heard of it. Maybe it's new. I haven't either. Mysterious, but crepes are so good. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. Do they have vegan options? Probably. I think crepes... Oh, no, they're not vegan by default, but they can easily be made vegan. Terry found the actual menu and started skimming through it. Aha! She put her finger on a promising bolded-headed labeled vegan options and smiled. They do! Yay, I always appreciate that. Miranda smiled at you warmly and Cove caught your eye. I'd go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. No, I won't tease him. I'll wait. Terry leaned back against the car door as the group stood by for his return. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun! She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. He didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just doing a left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, they went smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the crepery's interior and why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. Cool. There was a window you could walk up to and one for cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh. I don't think I needed to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go. Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured to the drive-through option. Cove shook his head with a snort. Want to see what it's like inside? I'd trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently they'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. I went to Italy when I was like 7, and I swear I had a crepe every day of that month. It was the best. And straight Nutella crepes, that was it. Nutella crepes all the way. Oh, it was so good. That's sweet. Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You can do it this time, Randy. Ooh. Wow. I'm trying to read the feelings. Do I see mango there? Mixed berries? Whipped cream? Wait, so these are the top ones, the type of crepe, and then it's the filling? So you can have like a strawberry crepe, like a green tea. Wow. That's pretty cool. And also there are all those places those crepe places in Japan. That's pretty good too. Oh, yummy. I love crepes. Yummy, yummy. There were some laughs. When you got to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepes. Oh. Really? There were drinks? There were definitely many crepes. Many crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, and milkshakes. Ooh, nice. Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration they'd made and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. Oh my god. Both. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe itself you wanted, oh my god, this is the best kind of decision. Plain strawberry chocolate green tea lemon. I feel like I want to go strawberry because I'm probably going to go with some kind of chocolate interior and we want them to complement each other, you know? So let's go strawberry. For the filling and toppings, you picked... Oh, whipped cream, condensed milk, damn! Cream cheese, chocolate chip, chocolate syrup, caramel syrup, powdered sugar, strawberries, mango slices, mixed berries. What do you mean you don't want anything extra? I'm thinking chocolate chips or chocolate syrup. I feel like just chocolate syrup could be weird, but chocolate chips could be good, and maybe they'll melt a little bit. Let's go with that. Oh my god, I can do multiple. And let's go caramel, and let's go condensed milk, and let's go strawberries, and some powdered sugar. Yes, that's it. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered iced green tea, oh nice, black tea, milk tea, iced coffee, a strawberry smoothie. That does sound good. Banana smoothie, mango. Ooh, I do love a mango smoothie. Let's go mango smoothie. You could also add a mix in or toppings. Oh my god, you can. This is a dream. God, I want a place like this. Just a welcome. Check this out. Oh my god. So this is to the mango. It's a mango smoothie though. And I think mango smoothie by itself is pretty good, so let's go with that. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. That does sound nice. You also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Nice, 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 nice. Terry went crazy with toppings. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese. Do they go well together? Chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. To be fair, I haven't had cream cheese in years, so maybe. Miranda opted for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed. Oh my god, that sounds so good. Ooh. Damn, good pickings, everyone. The four of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, Patch. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I couldn't just pick one, and why not? Exactly. It's gonna be good. Man, Patch, your crepe is gonna rock. Yeah, absolutely. High five for topping appreciation. Oh, yeah. She held out her hand expectantly. No, I'll give her a high five. You hit her hand with a satisfying smack. You gotta get a good one. You gotta get a good one. You gotta redo it if it's not satisfying. Order for Patch. Blah, blah, blah. Order for Patch. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Oh my god, do you have pictures? Terry dug right into her. No, okay, I really want to see pictures. Maybe I should just draw some pretty crepes after this. Hey, I guess I'm gonna draw crepes after this. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frappe over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell there that there was an intent to make it look nice, but with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. Oh, that's cute. They'd both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. Oh, that's sweet. Oh. But we've each got our own thing. Yeah, people can try mine. You held up your order up a little, bringing it to attention. Your friends looked at you curious. Anyone want some? Yes, dibs. You can't call dibs on someone else's food. Except that I did. Everyone can try it if they want. Thanks, that's so nice. Miranda took the first round and then with a smirk passed on your order to Cove instead of Terry. Aw, Randy, my dibs. Randy, my dibs. My dibs, Randy. Sorry, you can't claim Patch's stuff. Fine, I can wait for it. Chuckling, Cove seemed to greatly enjoy his taste and didn't pass it on to Terry until he'd stopped chewing slowly. Finally, she accepted your order with gusto and took her bite. Ah, that's so good. Thanks, Patch. You gave your reply in between sips of Miranda's frappe and munches of Cove's crepe. With that, Cove started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, then, without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. Ooh, mixing them. Cove? Terry tore up a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cove. Care to make a trade? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. The cops are so messy to eat. Oh no. I mean, I'm sure they are. Stop. Crepes are so messy to eat though. How can you possibly share it without stuff going everywhere? You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frappe than Miranda did. You kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. Oh! Wow! Pretty. You hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently, you were just about to walk right out into the middle of nowhere. I mean, sure. Terry took her mouth off Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frappe. Impossible! Preposterous! How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe. It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel like that. It felt that small when we were growing up. Oh, it definitely felt bigger then. It always seemed like there wasn't much here. There are tinier places out there. You guys are lucky to live in decent-sized cities. You quietly nodded along. You shrugged. It definitely felt bigger then. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. It seemed as endless as the ocean. But there was always some streak you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists. But now, you'd realised it was just a pond in this big, big world. Seeing the definite end only reinforced this. Here was the boundary that proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not the only one, Terry. There's 4 of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. It stinks that we have to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. And if we keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. It was so good. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping count of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside, but as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. Hello? The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. Oh, but then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so oh, I know who it is. Your facial expression is just so funny to me. He's like, hey, dudes. You just think you're so cool. Hey, neighbors. Ooh. The voice I do for him, it's just the worst kind of guy. Cove openly sighed when he recognized him, afterwards sucking sulkily at the straw of his long empty drink. You waved at him. Hi. You just wondered what he was doing here. You were sharing stuff to chat. I'll say hi. You inhaled and tried to be loud enough to account for the distance and car noises. It's nice to see you again. Somehow he was able to project his voice in such a way that it still sounded smooth, even though he was definitely speaking loudly. You wondered where he'd learned to do that. And you thought about the odd picture this made, a fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter, and a light bulb went off for Terry. Ah, that's the new person in the condo. The B-man, right? The B-man. Yeah, Baxter. Oh, I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible, this is perfect. Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fists, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, and Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. I mean, Cove can stay there. I think I'll go say hi, I guess. Cove waited in the grass without another word. He joined the other two and stood next to Baxter's car. He smiled genially at you. Patch, it is very nice to see you once more. Oh, God, no. He gestured to Miranda and Terry. I just rented this car for my stay here and was coming back from a bit of sightseeing when I spotted your crowd. Then these two were kindly introducing themselves. I hate this guy, and it's, oh man, and I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't. Yep, it's only polite. Speaking of polite, since you know us, you should give us a ride. Terry? Her voice was whispered, but her tone was clear. This was not Miranda approved. What? Then we won't have to walk back to the parking lot. I'll take care of it. Miranda bit her lip. Terry, clearly not seeing the problem, pointed at Miranda and turned back to Baxter. You wouldn't make a cute girl trudge down this empty road, right? Look at her. Baxter did. Miranda smiled uncomfortably and he grinned playfully. Baxter, don't you dare. Of course not. Consider me at your service. Ugh, disgusting. Yes. She spun around and tried to wave Cove over. You could tell from his face that he was already alarmed. Get over here, Baxter's giving us a ride. You could make out his frown in the distance. However, he did start to drag himself out of the grass. You're just happy to get a ride. You're kind of annoyed that Terry did this. You're uncomfortable to be getting a ride from Baxter. Yeah, I am uncomfortable, but a ride is nice. Terry also shouldn't have. I'm all of the above. I think I'm uncomfortable. You didn't know Baxter well enough to feel safe with him driving. Yeah. Sure, you doubted he was going to kidnap everyone or something. Your group had the numbers and you were pretty sure you could all take him in a fight, but it still felt weird. You weren't in the habit of climbing into random people's cars. It always felt awkward. The seats, the smells, and everyone's car etiquette were always different. You felt stressed out that Terry had put this on you. Yes, this is me all over this feeling. Miranda looked down and put on a polite smile. Thank you. You are welcome. It's just the way he doesn't shorten any of he doesn't condense any words. Terry did have a point. It would have been inconsiderate to abandon you here. And after all, your company is a favor to me. I have to do like hand motions when I'm speaking as him. Miranda laughed a little and Terry slung an arm over Miranda's shoulder with a big grin. Seeing their reactions, he made a point to search for yours too. Oh. You didn't give him much of a response. You rolled your eyes, you were flattered. You thought it was funny, you frowned. You hoped Cove would get there soon. Yup. Oh, not happy. That's not a happy face. Cove stepped up to the car, his expression now inscrutable. Hello. Hi. Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. This is a fancy car. How old are you? You hesitantly opened the back door and slipped inside. The car was clean and smelled of air freshener, and we're all like sandy and in swimmers. You stared at Cove for reassurance as you scooted all the way to the other side. Cove squeezed into the middle after you. Miranda took the last seat in the back, and you all tried to awkwardly buckle up. Were back seats really made for 3 adults? It honestly didn't seem like it. Terry gladly took the shotgun seat and had all the room she wanted. Welcome to my vehicle! Oh my god, who says that? You are a douchebag. You are, aren't you? I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Jeez Louise. You began to explain where you'd come from. It was pretty easy to direct him straight down the road and one turn into a parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and buckled back into the road. Baxter where did I pull buckled from? Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Maybe I just mixed back and pulled together. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. You smiled. Yeah. You clapped as well. You nudged Baxter in a friendly way. I'm, like, in the back seat. I'll smile. Sure. You were glad to have reached your destination and pleased at the fanfare of your friends. You didn't say a word, but Terry and Miranda definitely caught your amusement. We've arrived. That was easy. Yep. I guess it wasn't supposed to be challenging, but okay. Terry flung open her door and climbed out. Thanks! Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Oh? Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You are too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. Oh, he did condense your UNR. Cool. I'll be keeping this car all this summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. And that goes for everyone here. I have a car. Obviously, we're standing right in front of it. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of the head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. And if you don't need it, you can pass on it. Yeah, I'm good with Cove. I stayed silent. When her giggle subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool. What? Yeah, I agree. Terry, you're not getting consent from all party members on this stuff. I think it's fairly clear to see that some of us are uncomfortable with what's going on, and you're just pushing it further, bud. Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Yeah, he has a car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up. We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it! Baxter tapped the side of his face in thought. That sounds doable. He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you. Well, we have 2 cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. Oh. Decide to go back to the neighborhood with Cove. You want to continue to... Frankly, I'm kind of frustrated with Terry and kind of put off by Baxter. I'm sorry about Miranda, but I think she's also most comfy hanging out with Terry. Most of the time, it seems. They seem to be good buds, if not more. I'm not sure about the situation. So I'm gonna go with Cove. You would rather go back for now. You let the group know. Both girls frowned. Neither wanted to leave you or Cove behind. Terry especially looked troubled and started bouncing in place. Today is about us hanging out. We can't just bail. Yeah, but it's about us hanging out, and you've invited someone new that wasn't a part of the original deal, and now we're uncomfortable. Miranda nodded and bit her lip. We don't have to go to the park. Going back to the neighborhood has plenty of appeal. It could prove to be the better idea. Cove winced and shook his head. No, really, it's fine. We've done plenty of hanging out today. If you want to go to the park, you should. Baxter does not look happy, okay. It'll be sunset by the time you get over there anyways. The day's done. Just have some fun with Baxter. Okay. She didn't sound too thrilled and Miranda patted her on the shoulder. Guess we'll see you later then? Probably. Cove smiled and she rolled her eyes at his wishy-washy answer. He knew you'd be seeing them again. Everyone finished saying their goodbyes and the 3 climbed into Baxter's car. I'll wave. Terry waved back with both hands enthusiastically while Miranda waved like a princess from the back seat. Before Baxter drove off, he inclined his head to you and Cove. Then Baxter rolled down his own window. Have a safe journey. I'll see you around the neighborhood. Yep. Baxter started to pull out of the parking lot and Cove waved them off, stepping forward as they pulled away. Then it was just you and Cove left in the parking lot. He rubbed his hands together for a moment and locked his car. Jeez, bud, that was something, wasn't it? He got into the shotgun seat this time, and Cove took his place at the wheel. He put his key in the ignition and turned to you. I'm surprised you didn't want to go. I was ready to go back. Thank you for giving me an out. Kinda, yeah, you didn't respond to that. Actually, I only want to go so you had a reason to leave. No, don't put that guilt on him. Also, I didn't really want to go. Thank you for giving me an out. Cove smiled, satisfied, and finally turned his key to the car, to start the car. The car ride back passed quickly. They were all familiar roads you'd seen before. Soon you'd return to the comfort of your own neighborhood. Cove pulled in and parked. He shut off his car, then you both got out to stand in the road. I guess that's it. Thanks for the ride, Cove. I'll see you later. It was fun. Pleasant farewells given, you walked to your front door. You completely changed out of your swimsuit and into more comfortable clothes. That was definitely a benefit of coming back. Yeah, and maybe have a shower though? You're all sandy and oily. Time ticked by as the sun started to set. Orange gold light streamed. If he like kidnaps her or something, that'd be wild. Oh, like the girl. Oh my god. I've been. To be fair, I have been watching true crime for the last 3 days, so maybe that's kind of in the back of my head. Time ticked by as the sun started to set. Orange gold light streamed in through the windows. You could tell the weather was still really nice out there. Your attention was taken by your phone. I'd say, well, what am I doing? I'm usually on my computer, so I probably just hear it go off. Yeah, different text tones for almost everyone important in your life. Oh my god, I should do that. That's totally something I would do. You thought Miranda's was especially fitting. It played and you snatched it up to check your phone. Except I talked to everyone through like Discord. I don't think you can do that with Discord. Oh, you're gonna see fireworks? Whoa. Hi Patch, we're gonna see fireworks. Do you wanna come? Oh. And Terry texted Cove. He said he'll be there. Oh, cool. How did their trip start hanging out at the park and end up finding some previously unknown fireworks spectacle? It was definitely news to you. Fireworks? Oh. I mean, if Cove's going, yeah, sure. I'd love to. Is Baxter still gonna be there? I'd love to. Fireworks was kind of out of the blue, but sounded like a lot of fun. That was something you couldn't miss. Miranda sent back a cheery smiley face, not even 5 seconds later. Then you got a yay and she sent another message that told you Cove would be out at his car soon. You quickly got yourself ready and headed out into the world once more. On the way you sent a message to Cove that you were coming. You texted that he was already outside. Oh, he's so pretty. Whoa, what are you barking at? What are you doing, Munchkin? What are you doing? Come sit down. Yeah, that's right. Nice and comfy. Good girl, baby. Good girl. Hey, I love you. I love you, I do. Boop. I know. Okay, I won't be much longer, okay, my dear? Just as promised, Cove was waiting by his car. He hadn't bothered to change at all. He was quite comfortable going around in swim shorts. But you'd be swimming in those. No! He slipped his phone into his pocket and waved you over. Without needing to say a thing, you got into the shotgun seat. Cove looked over to you from the driver's seat and smirked as he started up the car. Here we go again. Yep. He pulled out into the road and raced towards the city as the sun continued to sink below the horizon. When city lights sparkled around you, Cove started looking for a parking spot. It had been a smooth drive, but unfortunately finding a parking was a task. What kind of just random fireworks events are there? The only ones I ever know of are New Year's. But then I think... Hey! Whoa. Hey, you're okay. Whoa. Oh, Grumpy. You're grumpy today. She grumpy today. Yeah, but I think fireworks in Australia are a bit stricter than in America. Because I've heard people talking about like lighting up their own fireworks, and I've like never done that. That's not a thing here. The biggest thing you can get is a sparkler. So firework culture in America is completely unknown to me. When city lights sparkled around you, Cove started looking for a parking spot. It had been a smooth drive, but unfortunately finding a parking was a task. You tried to text Miranda to see where they had parked, but she admitted that there hadn't been any openings around there. They had gotten lucky with one single spot. Cove had to drive around a few blocks, but finally you spotted something. He pulled in and parked, feeling just as triumphant as if he'd won an actual prize. Oh, pretty. Terry sent you a text saying to hurry up and get to the waterfront. Miranda attached a helpful picture of where they were. You pointed the way to Cove, and the two of you jogged around a bend and then down the brick-lined walkway. Eventually you saw three silhouettes in the distance. They started to wave and yell. One of them jumped in place and with her arms going back and forth. It had to be your friends. You rushed over to them. Miranda and Terry ran up to meet you halfway with their faces full of smiles. Hi, we missed you. Buddies, I knew the day wasn't over for us. Hey. I'm glad we found you. Parking is crazy. Baxter had stepped up at some point too. He ran a hand through his hair, trying not to interrupt the reunion. Hello. I don't know how else to do his voice than that. Hey. Cove gave him a nod. With the band back together, the group walked back to the area where Baxter, Miranda, and Terry had originally set up at. It was quiet. It was a quiet, open area on the waterfront. Cove let out a relieved sigh after things calmed down. So, did we miss anything? Nah, you're good. Nothing's happened yet. We think it's gonna start really soon, though. What are these fireworks even for? Well... She smiled a big grin at Miranda. Randy talked about watching fireworks at the park, and that reminded me about how there's this big company having an event tonight. I heard they were gonna have fireworks. There's no way we're getting into the party, but... She put a finger up and her smile turned devious. I'm positive we'll be able to see the fireworks from here. They can't hide explosions in the sky from the public. That's ridiculous. You suddenly wondered how Terry had convinced Cove to come without prior explanation. He was utterly stunned that this was the source of the fireworks. To be fair, you hadn't asked Miranda for the details either. Cove scratched his head in defeat. I guess we're already here. It's kind of too late now. You bet your wet blanket it's too late. She shook her head with exasperation, but let him off with minimal teasing. You felt excited. You thought it was kind of a silly situation. You were nervous about how close the fireworks would be. You felt pretty laid back. I think it'll be nice. I love fireworks. The spontaneity of the whole thing, combined with the amazement of the fireworks, was a recipe for you to be bursting with anticipation. It couldn't start soon enough. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter, he looked like he's just standing in shadow. Baxter smiled politely and looked from you to Cove. He seemed to be waiting for one of you to speak first, rather than wanting to directly start a conversation. Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Most of us are in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back up at the sky. Ah. Do you mean Sydney? Oh, pretty. Wow. I love fireworks. So nice. A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom and a red firework lit up the night. Whoa, the show's starting! It's so pretty. They came running over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without just going swimming again. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colours stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surrounding with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden. Did I deliver or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered, and then she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft. We did it! You gave her a little push in turn with a laugh. You were pleased that you hadn't missed any of the show after all. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. You weren't comfortable with how near it was. I think I'm glad everyone's having a good time. Cove stared up at the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up, and then gasped when it bloomed and turned into a huge sphere of violet light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood close by. Terry's hands gripped the top. Cove laid his arm across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Ooh. She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool! Terry held up a hand for a high five and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is that your favorite color? Green? It's one of them. I think it's nice. It matches you. Is yours black? Cove, not impressed. That's one of them. Terribly flirty there, Baxter. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. I'm gonna stay next to Cove. Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at a spectacular multicolored firework above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer. In front of him you could see the night's lights reflected on the water. You took a moment to watch him, and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. You leaned your head against Cove, you held Cove's hand, you wrapped your arms around Cove, you cuddled against Cove's chest, you stood by him. Let's hold hands, yeah! You carefully slipped your hand into his and interlaced your fingers. He squeezed back gently with a warm smile on his face. You both were content to hold on to each other for the rest of the show. Cove's gaze drifted from the show of dazzling lights straight at you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you'd last seen him so blissful. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green, while a big boom sounded. The fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again, not for the rest of your life. You planned to hold on to the feelings you had in this moment for as long as you could. Wow, that was nice in the end. There were some ups and downs there, but pretty nice. Oh my gosh, and a long one too. I was hoping to be able to fit maybe one or two, to fit two into this one. But I'm looking at an hour and 20 at the moment for me. So geez Louise. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna have to cut it off there, and we'll probably move on to errands in the next one. But I'm gonna need to get myself a cup of tea because I didn't get to warm up as much as I'd like to have. But thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you had fun. Goodbye. Bye.